Hello, and welcome to the Trainer for Webinar Learning Session 1. My name is Brianna Holmes, and I am one of the content specialists here at the National Office for Early Care and Education Learning Collaborative Project. Our goal is to ensure that all trainers have resources, materials, and information that they need to implement successful learning sessions. Being prepared is critical in this project, as the learning sessions contain a wealth of information. The amount of information may seem a little overwhelming at times, so to reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed, please continue to use the webinar and those forthcoming as a way to reflect and hopefully guide you as a successful trainer. Okay, our agenda today will cover the information presented in the PowerPoint presentation and in the implementation guide. So this is not the actual presentation, and we won't show the slides, but we will do a review of them to hopefully answer any questions and concerns that you may have. So it may be helpful for you to have your implementation guide along with the participant handbook out to kind of use it as a reference during the presentation. Part A, the ECELC project. Okay, the National Early Care and Educational Learning Project is an intervention designed to promote positive changes in healthy eating, healthy beverages, physical activity, and screen time policies, practices, and environments in ECE settings. The collaborative is so effective because we've been able to establish community partnerships that help to expand early childhood educational programs. We always provide support and resources that are also critical in ensuring all programs and children's needs are being met. So here are the initial goals that the collaborative is based on. The leadership team can be empowered by engaging staff in ongoing assessment, action planning, and improvement. A strong emphasis is also placed on engaging families as partners in supporting children's optimal development and acquisition of healthy habits, family-style dining, and moderate to vigorous physical activity, or MVPA. Family engagement is introduced in Learning Session 1 and is addressed further in the additional learning sessions. So you have the collaborative framework components. It's made up of leadership teams and the trainers. During the learning sessions, we do ask that you provide education about nutrition, healthy beverages, physical activity, reduction of screen time, and breastfeeding support. You would want the participants to ask questions, challenge their thinking based on the available resources and support. Through that, they should implement change within their program that aligns with the collaborative. The action period, that's exactly what it sounds like, a time to prepare action. The programs develop their own plan, and you help them to achieve their goal. The components of the action period tasks throughout all of the learning sessions are assessments, action plans, and storyboards. Technical assistance will be reviewed on the next slide. So, provide technical assistance. Technical assistance, as you see, can take place in many different ways through observation and debriefing, brainstorming, discussions, modeling, direct instruction, coaching, or mentoring. As a trainer, you select the appropriate approach for each program based on their individual needs. A program is only as good and only as successful as its trainer. Technical assistance is not just a physical visit. You are the main resource, so your knowledge and expertise on this curriculum makes you the main point of contact. You are assisting based on the needs of the program. The PowerPoints for each learning session are designed to guide you, but seeing as though you know the rules, regulations, you can alter your presentation so that the participants can relate. What specifically does your state do? How will that impact the provider? The more information you know, the more your program should. As you work with the program, you may come across resources that may be beneficial. Please pass them out. A program may not express a need on a certain topic, but may find the information useful. As a trainer, addressing the needs of the collaborative is most important. Nemours provides supplemental resources located in the password-protected area on the Let's Move Child Care website. The next few slides will show you how to get to the website and the resources. Now, although site visits are not just the only type of visit, site visits are required. During these visits, there are sample technical assistance forms that should be completed accompanying the visit on your iPad mini. Once you've completed it, then you'll submit it to the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition. The site visits are really effective if you try to implement an activity within the visit. So showing the staff how important it is and ways that they should implement new activities will encourage the staff to do so. Now, the next slide you see is the home page of the Let's Move Childcare or healthykidshealthyfuture.org website. So once you get here, you know you're in the right place. As you scroll down the page, you will notice a picture of two children whispering in each other's ear. The subtitle About Learning Collaboratives is listed above it. This is your link to enter the password protected area. So you will click this. Once you click it, you'll be prompted to enter a password. The password is welcome, all lowercase letters. Once again, the password is welcome, all lowercase letters. So once you enter the password protected area, this is what your screen should look like. The National ECELC tools, materials, and resources, and as you can see, it includes all the states that are included. Now, it breaks it down by administrative resources. This section is available for each learning session, and it shows you the guidance materials and forms, technical assistance, first book partnership, and additional support. Then you will have the learning session materials and resources that's divided up by project coordinators and trainers and ECE program participants. So if you click on the drop down for the project coordinators and training, this is what it will look like. It will show you webinar, implementation guide, sample agenda, presentation, breakout group discussion notes under the preparation and presentation. So when we usually refer and say they're on the USB drive that you receive, they also are on our website. So you can download everything that's on here. And you have them in the different sections, preparation and presentation, evaluation, and videos, and that's the same thing among all learning sessions. Once you click, lastly, we provide, as you can see, the National ECELC newsletter. This is something that we've come up with recently as it started in May, but this is our way to feature different information about topics that trainers and providers have discussed. They may want more information about it, or they've been finding it out as an issue. So we put out these newsletters in hopes to kind of have a fun, creative way to pass information across. So we do ask that you download the newsletters and share them with your program or your leadership team. Additionally, we have the supplemental resources that are available. Many of the resources in the supplemental resource section are available in English and Spanish. All right, so technical assistance after the learning session. It is recommended to schedule the initial site visit at the end of the learning session. Other states have done this in the past, and they've found that it's been very effective. So in doing so, the programs are aware of what needs to be done prior to the site visit, and they can be more prepared to work with you. Ask probing follow-up questions about the learning sessions and what they received from it. These type of questions are intended to cause the participants to think more deeply about the issue at hand. Now, what is your role as a trainer? The relationships that you have with programs also determine their success rate. Building lasting relationships and allow programs to feel comfortable to come to you with any concerns and problems. Your skills and experience make a huge difference in building the trust as well as supporting learning. For those of you that may have experience working directly in child care programs, you should share that knowledge. Let the program staff know that you have been in their shoes, you understand what's going on, and it will bring a sense of comfort to them. So, and make the interactions real. Don't give the participants the feeling that you are just there to tell them what to do. Personalize your visits and learning sessions. You'll review the state-specific, any state-specific resources that you may have prior to the learning session. Just make sure that you can give them out at the beginning in the check-in along with the other items that they'll receive. And explain their use and present them in a way that the programs will want to use them later. As you work with the adults, it is important to understand how to work with them. Strategically develop both personal and professional goals that introduces program staff to setting, creating, and implementing their goals. Now, learning session preparation. Main thing for learning session preparation is knowing the information. The implementation guide was developed to provide guidance in how to implement the learning sessions. The guide comes with a sample agenda, materials list, and content implementation. Additionally, if future guidance is needed, please refer back to this and other webinars. Use the sample agenda provided in the implementation guide as you conduct the learning sessions. This will allow you to cover each content area and give you an idea of the recommended time that it will take to go through it. It is important to maintain the schedule as we don't really want to overload the participants with a lot of information. So Learning Session 1 content. The ECELC project. So it is recommended, as I stated before, to begin the check-in process about 30 minutes before the session begins. You distribute the Learning Session 1 pretest prior to beginning the learning session. So during that time, that 30 minutes, we do encourage you to distribute the pretest at that time. Now, the ECELC project, we focus on quality early childhood education and children's health as the foundation for lifelong success. We are aligned with the best practice guidelines and the guide to guide the process of healthy change. Understanding the concept of ECE providers as being agents of change is critical. A child who is in child care spends the majority of the hours of their day in that child care program. Providers serve as role models, resources for families influencing healthy habits. Please reinforce that to them. Let them know how important they really are. A well-developed leadership team is essential. It is recommended that the team should be comprised of those individuals who are in agreement with the collaborative goals and values and are designed to implement them in the program. Many leadership teams may include a director, an owner, a lead teacher, or even a cook. These generally are essential personnel within the center and have the most influence in implementing change. So the learning sessions are designed to introduce each area of the curriculum to providers through interactive, engaging sessions. So with the 5 sessions, they contain a wealth of information, so we encourage you to kind of jazz it up a bit, make it a little bit more specific to your audience. We really want you to be creative as possible while using our curriculum or our presentation as a framework. The video provides an exciting welcome message from First Lady Michelle Obama. This video introduces the Let's Move Child Care initiative and encourages the need for healthy eating and physical activity. Now, directly after the video, programs will register on Let's Move Child Care and take the Let's Move Child Care quiz to assess the current implementation of best practices. Each program will only register as one, so all members of the leadership team do not need to register. As programs complete the quiz, take time to introduce them to the Healthy Kids, Healthy Future website. Part B, healthy development. The prevalence of obesity, as we know, has increased over time. So understanding and acknowledging this as an issue helps programs understand the need for obesity prevention. When presenting the information, you have the option of deleting the slides from the other states. The intention of this segment is to focus on your specific state. Feel free to provide additional resources and statistics if you desire. Video Module 1 highlights and briefly explains each section of the presentation. It outlines the importance of having programs understand their involvement and role in preventing obesity. We encourage you to watch the video prior to showing the participants. The learning session will use this video the leadership team will use this video to help facilitate the action period task in between Learning Session 1 and Learning Session 2. The physical activity break occurs at this time. This is the first one of the session. You will use the nutrition and movement activity book provided to choose your activity. Practice the activity before implementing. It just allows for a smoother transition into the actual activity. Part C, ABCs of a Healthy Me. This document can be found in the participant handbook. However, I suggest that you print some copies for the participants. You can also print it from the companion USB or also on the website that I showed you. The ABCs of Healthy Me framework will be used throughout all the learning sessions. In addition to the ABCs of Healthy Me, if you have state-specific messaging that you may want to include, please add it those slides in. Now, the ABCs of a Healthy Me exchange. This will allow the participants to be creative. Set up 5 pieces of chart paper around the room titled with the different ABCs, best practices. Place index cards, or you can use sticky notes at the table with at least 5 cards or more for each participant. Once they receive their cards, ask them to identify what they are currently doing and compare them to the best practices. Many programs will identify similar items. It is fine for them to list the items on the cards that are associated with their letter. And if it's the same thing, it's okay. This is an opportunity for the programs to network. This is the first interaction that the programs have with each other, so we want to make it as comfortable as possible. Now, we have those programs that like to always get together and don't want to venture out and meet new people. So one way to help kind of get that out of everyone's head is to count off by 5. That way they will be able to break up and get to meet new providers. And the gallery walk that you will have for that will also not so much learn different methods from other programs, but it's a physical activity break. We really want to show them how little things can really be a physical activity break, and it's not just a structured activity. Facilitating change in your program. Now, the video Making Health Easier, Healthy Changes Start in Preschool. This is highlights a teacher's successful way of adding a physical activity to her program. So encourage the participants to share this video with their staff. This video can serve as motivation to change because of one small change another teacher did. It made a huge difference. Now, the breakout sessions are your opportunity to learn your leadership team. You will learn the needs of the program and begin to set up the dates for your site visits. Review the discussion notes beforehand so that your questions are asked fluidly and you're more attentive to your program. And additionally, outline your role with them. Let them know, what are you there for? What's your purpose? What will you be doing? Now, the program action period tasks. The program is required to complete action period tasks. These tasks are to be completed and returned at the next learning session. The leadership teams do look for you for guidance and support trying to complete these action period tasks. They can be a little overwhelming, confusing, and they may just want the additional support from you. So these are the steps programs should be taking and thinking about while they're implementing it. You have the Go NASDAQ results with the leadership team, and they will identify and document 5 strength and improvement areas of the program. Programs need to bring back to Learning Session 2 the listed information. So action period task 1, the video module worksheet. So you'll introduce the video and the Early Care and Educational Learning Collaborative Project. Let the leadership teams know that when watching the video, it's okay to have it stop and ask questions to the other staff. One person from the leadership team should record staff thoughts and feedback on the worksheet. Now, the leadership teams will not only share what they learned, but they facilitate video trainings and work together to make those changes. The action period task 2, the Go NASDAQ. The Go NASDAQ self-assessments will help gauge where the programs are with implementing best practices. It will also help identify areas of improvement. The program director and/or the leadership team will complete these assessments. Program staff can provide input if desired, but only one copy of each instrument should be turned in to Learning Session 2. Now, if a program does not assess infants and toddlers, the infant feeding and breastfeeding section does not need to be completed. Action period task 3, strengths and improvement. So once the NASDAQ results come back, the program director and leadership team will discuss the results with their program and should choose 5 things that the program does very well and 5 things they can improve on. They will document this on the 5 things the ECE program does well and can improve upon worksheet, as well as the large chart paper. They will bring back the large chart paper to Learning Session 2. Leadership teams should hold on to that worksheet as well, as this will help guide them when they're doing their pilot action plan and long-term action plan. Staff wellness. So the discussion items should center around benefits of staff wellness efforts. These have essential questions that are listed in the participant handbook as well as the presentation. Show the participants this. It should allow an opportunity for them to think and reflect. So staff understanding the importance of their well-being will help strengthen their desire to motivate the children to follow the same guidelines. Staff should model their eating habits with the children. So if they go out to lunch, waiting for the children to lay down for their nap may be more appropriate than going to McDonald's while the children are all sitting down eating family style. So Programs should also discuss healthy weight, but not to the point that it makes this program staff feel uncomfortable. The healthy weight should allow the participants to think, but not feel as though they are being judged. The goal of this section is not to criticize them, but make staff feel uncomfortable. But it's to introduce them to new methods and ways of wellness. Ask questions related to the impact of job stress and wellness also. If staff are overwhelmed or feel as though they are being neglected, it may increase the level of stress. Meeting the needs of the staff plays a huge role in successful operation of the center. Also, you have another physical activity break in which you will choose from the nutrition and movement activity book. Last but not least, the Learning Session 1 feedback forms. You'll distribute the Learning Session 1 feedback forms and ensure that all forms are completed by each participant. Now, you will give them to the project coordinators who will then submit them to Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition. When everyone is back together, you're going to make sure that you're distributing these forms. All right, wrap up. So at the end of your session, it might be easier to assign one person to highlight or record a program name on a list after the feedback forms, name tags, and any takeaway forms are picked up. Handouts, resources, and materials. Where can you find these? None other than the www.healthykidshealthyfuture.org website. Once again, we have so many handouts, resources, and materials that are beneficial to you, to program staff, to the leadership team, and we really want to encourage them to use it. We really take our time to make sure that the resources on there are helpful and beneficial. And if you have any additional resources that you don't see on there, or programs have resources that they use, please send them to myself or the other content specialist, Katie Swanson. Our contact information is listed here, and once again, you can contact myself at the listed contact information as well as Katie Swanson. I do hope that this webinar provided you with information that you need to have a successful learning session. And if you have any additional questions in your implementation guide, there is a who to call for help. Please use that for further assistance. Thank you so much. Have a great day.